The Holy Gospel according to
Matthew. Then Jesus told his disciples, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, but those who lose their life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit them if they gain the whole world but forfeit their life? Or what will they give in return for their life? For the Son of Humanity is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay everyone for what has been done. Truly, I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Humanity coming in his kingdom." 6 days later, Jesus took with him Peter and James and his brother John and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And there he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became dazzling white. Suddenly there appeared to them Moses and Elijah talking with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you wish, I will make 3 dwellings here, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah." While Peter was still speaking, suddenly a bright cloud overshadowed them. And from the cloud a voice said, "This is my Son, the Beloved, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." When the disciples heard it, they fell to the ground and were overcome with fear. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, "Get up and do not be afraid." As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus ordered them, "Tell no one about the vision until after the Son of Humanity has been raised from the dead." The Gospel of the Lord. Please be seated. I no longer ask why. The answers are something I simply cannot bear. As a society, our lust for our guns supersedes our love for our children. As a society, we resist taking guns away from anyone out of fear that it is the first step on the slippery slope of taking my gun away from me. And if they can take away my gun, well, that's the first step on the slippery slope of taking away my freedom. And so I was shocked, but not surprised, when the rock was repainted to read, "Allow us to defend ourselves and carry on campus." I no longer ask why. The answers are simply something I cannot bear. I am told that the answer to Monday night's mass shooting is to pray. I am grateful for the prayers upon prayers upon prayers. And those are only the prayers I know about. As your bishop, every night for 9.5 years, I have prayed that a mass shooting would never come. I have prayed knowing that a mass shooting on the territory of my synod was only a matter of time. I have prayed knowing that Monday night or something equally horrific was going to come. But even more, I have prayed knowing Jesus would come. And on Monday night, Jesus came to campus. Jesus came as Jesus always comes, not to stop us, but to suffer with us. And so Jesus came to the 3 and to their 5 and to their families and friends. Jesus came to scared students hiding in the dark and to families sitting helpless at home. Jesus came to staff and professors and administrators. Jesus came to law enforcement officers and to medical personnel. Jesus came to the campus community attacked here in East Lansing. And Jesus came to Spartans who felt violated when they received the news hundreds and thousands of miles away. Jesus came not bringing answers. Jesus came bringing a promise. Jesus came to make clear that neither the shooter, nor the gun, nor the bullets, nor any of the forms of death that have visited us this week will have the last word. The last word, the final word, the ultimate word belongs to Jesus. And Jesus' word is life. Jesus' word is glory. Jesus' word is resurrection. Jesus led Peter and James and John up the high mountain so that they would know that Jesus' word is true, so that they would trust the truth of Jesus' word on a terrible Friday when Jesus was nailed to the cross. And through the scriptures, Jesus leads us up the mountain so that we will know that Jesus' word is true, so that we will trust the truth of Jesus' word on a tragic Monday night that feels like it may never dawn in a new day. Like Moses before him, Jesus goes up the mountain to be in the very presence of God. Where Moses once on another mountain spoke with God face to face, on this mountain, Moses again speaks with God, fully present in Jesus, whose face shone like the sun and whose clothes became dazzling white. Elijah, who heard God speak not in earthquake, wind, and fire, but in a still small voice, anticipates and attests that we will hear God speak in cries from the cross as Jesus suffers with us. As a cloud once overshadowed Moses, so a cloud overshadows the disciples. And through the scriptures, a cloud overshadows us. And from the cloud, a voice says, "This is my Son, the beloved, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." Listen to Jesus, whose word is life, glory, resurrection. we behold Jesus as he will be after his resurrection and in his glory. Jesus brings us up the mountain so that we trust his word is true. The day of resurrection will come. Now, when I say the day of resurrection will come, I am, of course, thinking of that great last day when Jesus will return and come in all his fullness, and death will be no more, and all things will be restored to God. But I am also thinking of the resurrection that is breaking in, that is dawning in our world today, in expressions of peace and unity, hope and healing and wholeness. And I am daring to think of the resurrection that will result from concrete actions like background checks and safe storage and red flag laws and a slow return to a feeling of relative safety. Resurrection is dawning. As we wait for resurrection, we can endure as people with hope. Because regardless of how we are feeling, we have Jesus' promise of resurrection. We have Jesus' promise that Christ will raise us, that Jesus will raise those we grieve, that Jesus will raise all people, that Jesus will raise all things. For if you notice, Jesus did not stay on the mountain in dwellings built by Peter and company. Nothing is going to keep Jesus away. And so Jesus made his way down the mountain to Jerusalem to be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the scribes and be killed. And on the third day raised. And on Monday night, Jesus made his way from his place of glory to campus, to Berkey Hall and the Union, to those being fired upon and wounded and killed. Jesus made his way to all of us. And I am here to tell you that Jesus has not left and Jesus will not leave until resurrection dawns. So, as we wait for the resurrection, regardless of how we feel, we can wait as people of hope because we have Jesus' promise. And we can do one more thing. We can be vigilant for signs of resurrection, for signs of transfiguration. No, they won't be as brilliant as Jesus' face shining like the sun and his clothes turning dazzling white. But with the eyes of faith, we will see them. With the heart of faith, we will not discount them. With the voice of faith, we will share them. I brought one to share with you. This crozier, this bishop's staff, was made for me by a friend after a bruising bishop re-election and during a global pandemic. And as I received this crozier and prayed with it for a year, Jesus used this crozier to transform me into a more Christ-like leader. You see, I used to think of the crozier, the bishop's staff, as a shepherd's staff carried by one beloved by the flock. That's hard to carry when you're not feeling the love. I have now come to understand this crozier as the staff of Moses, entrusted to one called by God to faithfully lead God's people no matter what. The cross on this crozier reminds me of Jesus' words, a physical expression of Jesus' words. If any want to be my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. Yeah, Jesus used this beautiful piece of wood to transfigure me into a more Christ-like leader, because as I prayed with it, it reminded me that I am in Jesus' presence, or better, that Jesus is in my presence, no matter what. My friends, your signs of transfiguration are out there waiting for you. I suspect you're going to find them on campus. Perhaps it is the rock, repainted to read, to those we lost, to those healing, Brian, Ariel, Alexandria. Your signs of resurrection, your signs of transfiguration are out there waiting for you. I pray you find them soon. For when you do, you will know yourself to be in Jesus' presence. Or better, you will know that Jesus is in your presence, no matter how you're feeling, no matter what. And you'll let go of answers you simply cannot bear. And hold on to promises you simply have to share. Jesus has the last word, and Jesus' last word is life. Jesus is with us no matter what. Jesus isn't leaving till resurrection dawns. And in Jesus, the day of resurrection is dawning today, here, now. You will know it when you behold it. It's transfiguring. It's Jesus. Amen.